All right. Hey, guys. All right. Welcome to another episode with the MLM City as part of our The Perfect Pyramid series.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Lovely to have you. We're so excited to share with you today's episode, and drop a hi as you're coming in. Would love to see you. Would love to get to know you if we haven't already, and let us know where you're tuning in from. As you're coming in, if this is your first time coming in, make sure that you give StreamYard access. That way we get to see you. Otherwise, we see you as someone anonymous. So at the top link of this video, there's a link at the post. There on the post of this post, there's a link you can just go ahead and give StreamYard access to. So hey, all right, let's see who's coming in. We've got Mr.
Hey Jason, what's up?
Always great to see you too. Thanks for hopping in, and we're going to go ahead and get started. We've got some incredible material that we have prepared for you as part of our journey of the Perfect Pyramid series. And one of the things that, well, before we get into it, actually, hey, we've got more people jumping on. And if you're watching this, if you jump in later or watch this after the show, definitely drop in a hashtag replay. We'd love to know, your comments and your notes as you're going through this with us. So Charles had a great idea for a question. Actually, before you do that, someone said, let's see. Someone said, hi, my favorite people. Hey, you are our favorite person.
You're our favorite too, but we want to know who you are so we can know who's our favorite.
Yeah, so definitely go ahead and give StreamYard access so we can see who you are. And then, Charles had a great question that he had. Well, let's have fun first.
Okay, cool. Quick question. Not related to network marketing. Although I guess, it's not really. Well, maybe.
I know it could.
Okay, so if you could go with 5 to 10 of your favorite friends or family, right? Sometimes not all your family's the favorite, but let's say your 5 to 10 your favorite people in the world, anywhere you want in the world for 1 week, where would you go? 1 week, 5 to 10 favorite people. Where would you go? So we're just going to throw that out there, and if people are jumping on,
they can drop their comments.
Drop your comments in there.
And what about you, Charles?
We'll watch later.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about this. I think I would like to go on a houseboat and Lake Powell. That would be fun. Jumping in and out of the water all day, cruising around the lake. I think that would be I did that. We did that as a family when I was a little kid. We did that one time, and that was fun.
I think one of my favorites, we haven't done that together, but one of the things that I would want to do when we're there, I like to go on the boat on the second floor, like, I don't know what it's called, but then jump from
on
there.
The roof.
On the roof, that's what it's called, and jump from the roof.
You just have to be careful of sunburn, too much sunburn the first day, second day, because then you're wiped out all week, right? So you just have to kind of ease into it.
Right.
So that's the strategy there. But let us know, where would you want to go? 1 week?
And why?
Top 10, 5 to 10 favorite people. Where are you going and why? We'd love to know where you want to go. Jason, where are you going? Where do you want to go, buddy?
So, hey, no pressure. Take your time. I did want to congratulate. We had incredible achievements today that were shared on our Facebook page by in our group, about recognition. Wednesdays is Recognition Celebration Day, and I just want to give it up to Priscilla. Priscilla said that she literally invited. She said 50 people to a presentation this week. Congratulations on doing that, Priscilla. That's huge to get out of your comfort zone, inviting people. So we want to congratulate you. And we also want to congratulate Tanya. Tanya said that she got 2 customers off of her Instagram post just yesterday. And so we want to doing it. Congratulations. And Natalie, she just got involved in the group, and she's on vacation, right? Becky. she's or she's out of town, or she's off, but still she said she's helping her team even though she's off, even though she's vacationing.
She's doing it.
We want to thank you for sharing that, Natalie, with us, and that's huge. And then we've got Wanda. She said she got a customer yesterday.
Yeah,
too.
doing it.
So
Jason wants to go to Lake Powell with us. You're coming, buddy. You're on the list. You spoke up first, so you get a VIP spot. That's going to be fun. So we'll plan something.
Yeah.
Cool.
So loving it. So yeah, ladies, more power to you. Keep doing the work. And I'm very excited for you. So thank you for sharing that. The post. So every day the post is posted in the morning, but then by next day it is pulled down, and you got to wait for next Wednesday to share your achievement. But if you still have your achievement that you want to share with us, the post will be live till tomorrow morning.
We updated the rules for the Tuesday rules yesterday.
There were
check those out.
There were a lot of questions coming in, so your questions helps us guys to serve you better. So it mostly was on the Tuesday.
Like what qualifies as free and stuff like that. So
yeah, we went over that.
So check that out.
Check that out when you have a minute. So congrats again on your achievements. And
this is episode number 3.
Yeah. So who's excited to learn about how you can sharpen your recruiting axe by avoiding this one big fatal mistake?
It's a big one.
It's a big one.
It's something that a lot of people, I think, don't think about. It's prevalent throughout the industry.
And
for sure,
it's prevalent in all ranks, in all levels. Like it's prevalent within newbies, if I may, like new beginners into the industry. It's even prevalent all the way
old timers
to people who've been professionals making full-time income. So it has nothing to do with the level that you're at. It's something prevalent that people do, and we want to help you avoid that mistake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
In all companies. So
in all companies.
Nobody's immune from this one.
Mm-hmm.
It can creep in, and you can just be susceptible to it. So
yeah. Anyway, who's excited to hear that, to want to avoid this mistake? If you are excited to learn how you can avoid mistakes, let us know. Say me, say whatever.
Say I'm excited. If you're excited, say I'm excited.
Right. Say something. So the more you're engaging with us, the more we know that we are serving you great guys. And also it gives us energy because we can't see you. We can't see your beautiful faces. So when you're engaging with us, we know you're like locked in, tuned in, and having fun with us. And we want to have fun with you.
Tell your story. Jump into it.
Let's jump into
Start with your story.
Hold on. Let me share this real quickly. So yeah, sharpen your recruiting axe by avoiding this fatal mistake. So let me share with you my story. So, one of my stories. A few months ago, I was approached by a person in network marketing who wanted to recruit me into his downline. I know this person. He wasn't a complete stranger, so I know him. Not too well, not too good, but not a stranger. So anyway, so we have this conversation, and I'm upfront, and I said, no, I'm not interested in joining the field. But since
in this particular company,
in this particular company, so I told him that no, I'm not interested. He told me about the company. I said, no, I'm not interested. But it seems like it's a very new company. It's barely launching. And if you guys are looking for help in corporate, I'm happy to entertain a conversation.
You're not under contract right now, so.
So that's what I said. And he said, oh, absolutely. Would love to. How come I didn't think about it? Of course. Like, we'd love you to have, I've already seen you, how you've led in C-level executive position before. You rock it. So I don't know why I didn't think about it. Let me see. I know the people, I'm working directly with the people at the top. I said, okay, cool. Let me know. And then a few days later, he contacts me back and he says, I want to introduce you to the CEO. He's so fired up. I told him all about you, and how you were, a CMO before, and what you've done and your work and all of that. So he really wants to meet you. Would you jump on the phone with him? He's, they're expanding, they're launching and expanding. They really need corporate help. I said, fabulous. Let's jump on the phone with the CEO. I jump on the phone with the CEO
But you told him specifically, like, as long as the conversation is to talk about positions available in corporate, because I'm not interested in being in the field.
Right. I was very clear upfront, and let's entertain a conversation for corporate if there is a need and if there's a fit, obviously. So we jump on the phone with the CEO, and the CEO, asks me quickly about my background. He shares a little bit of his background. And as soon as, I share my background, he was just blown away, and he was so excited. His kind of energy shifted even on the phone, and he was like, oh my gosh, like, you really need to meet our owner. Can I patch you in with the owner? Like, I said, sure.
Yeah, we want to have you on board.
Yeah, we want to have you on board. We're super fired up. Oh my gosh, this is the perfect fit. And so I was a little bit surprised that the conversation is moving so greatly and so quickly. And I said, yeah, sure. I mean, if there is whatever I can do in corporate, if there's a need I can fill, I'm happy to entertain that. So he patches me with the owner. Great owner, billionaire owner, great resume owner, launching a new company from scratch. Perfect, right? I mean, why not discuss this with the owner, see how I can help it at corporate? So we jump with the owner, and I'm patched in. I even remember we were in the car. Anyway, it was hot. Well, thank goodness we've got AC. Anyway, so, right, these days. So the owner jumps on the phone, and he starts talking about himself, about paints the vision for the company, where he's going, the direction, and the normal stuff that I'm used to when I get on the phone or on Zooms with owners. And it was impressive. And something kind of felt a little bit odd that he didn't ask me any questions, any corporate-y type questions at all. So I started asking him corporate type questions, and things like what gap is there right now in your marketing team that you're currently, what's the biggest gap, or what's the biggest need right now in your marketing team you're trying to fulfill? And his answer was like, oh, we're all good. And I asked him a few other questions similar, and the answer in one way or another was like, we're good. We're all set up. Everything is solid. Everything is like a well-oiled machine. We're all going. And it was one of those types of conversations where I started going, and I started even started asking myself, I mean, why are we even on the phone? Because I've been sitting in the car for the last 30 minutes.
It was so
stuck
weird.
In the car with Charles and my baby, right? And I'm like, why am I on this? If you're all set, why did you jump on the phone with me? I was so confused. But I also in my heart kind of knew what was going on. I didn't want to admit it, and I didn't want to quickly come into conclusions and assumptions. Anyway, the conversation wraps up, and they say, we want to send you some marketing material. We want to kind of get your consultation on it and see what you think. And let's catch up again next week.
I'm going to send you some of our products.
Yeah. Things like that. Yeah. And I said, sure. I said, my time is super valuable. I'll see what I can do. Let me know what you need in help in corporate, and we can see if that is a good fit, and we can see, blah, blah, blah. Next week, the CEO reaches back with me, and he puts me again on the phone with the owner. And this time, the owner, kind of the same thing, more of the same on the phone, on the conversation. And it started feeling my assumption and conclusion from the first phone call was very right. And they were just trying to recruit me into the field. Even at one point, the owner said, well, why don't you consider joining the field? Well, does, because that's not the premise on which we jumped on the conversation in the first place, right? But if I say that, I'm rude, right? But I was just baffled. And I was also, part of me was upset because these are the same things that happens in the industry that gives our industry a bad reputation. And so anyway, we jump off the phone, and clearly I was just baffled. And so I want to ask you a question, here, based on this story where the person who tried to approach me with a company, to the CEO, to the owner, where we all wasted our times. My intention was made clear from the very beginning. The premise on which we jumped on every conversation, phone call, was reaffirmed and reconfirmed
at the beginning of each call.
And somehow the conversation was redirected somewhere else. Everything other than the premise on which we jumped on.
It was as if they didn't even listen.
As if I was talking to a wall.
Yeah. They had their own objective in mind.
This agenda,
they had their agenda.
The objective of the call, but there was another agenda behind the scenes. So, I mean, I want to ask you this question. Oh, we've got comments coming. Someone said me.
Me? Who's me?
Someone is excited, saying me. Well, we're excited that you're here, but definitely go ahead and give StreamYard access so that we can see you. Otherwise, we just see you as someone anonymous. But yes, going back, I want to ask you this question. What do you think is the common mistake that those three people committed in their approach, from the rep to the CEO to the owner? I mean, if you are able to extract one mistake, what do you think that mistake was? And if you want to drop some comments, let's go, let's do it, or keep them coming as we go. But I want to share it with you. The biggest mistake that not only gives our reputation, our industry, a bad reputation, but it also leaves a bad taste in your mouth, right? It leaves a bad taste in the person whom you're prospecting, right? Or whom you're trying to enroll into whatever it is, right? That big mistake, right? That people commit over and over, whatever level they're at in the industry, that happens, and it's prevalent all over, is, Charles, do you want to say it?
It's being weaselly. It's not like a technical word for it.
There's
just
no
being real.
It's
just not a better way to say it. It's just being weaselly. You know what I mean? Like, kind of manipulative, kind of just not like shifty. You know what I mean?
Jason says complete lack of communication and false intentions
presented. Yeah, like
absolutely.
You're after one thing, but saying you're after another, and presenting it what you're not really, and being misleading, right? It's just, and it happens so much in the industry. Like Maral said, at all levels, new people, experienced people, all companies. I think we've all fallen victim to it at some point, but we don't want to go there. And I think right. our belief and philosophy is that it's not necessary, and it actually is even harmful,
right, to
your business and to the industry as a whole, right? But
well, I mean, imagine if their approach was different. Let's say they didn't try to be weaselly, if I may use that word, and they were honest with their intentions, and they painted the vision. Maybe I would have been, maybe all of a sudden I might have been interested to maybe consider joining the field. But the fact that there was the bad taste left in my mouth, do you think I would ever want to join the field?
Yeah, like what if they just said straight up, we don't have any positions available in corporate, but I think you really should know what's going on in this company, and you may reconsider building with us in the field. I really want
to introduce you to the owner,
and let the owner tell you about it.
Who's this, who's that.
Oh, okay. Maybe
I would have, right.
But at least we would have, Maral would have been on the phone with that intention.
And so we wouldn't have wasted anybody's time, because my time was wasted multiple times.
CEO's time, billionaire owners' time. Everybody's time was wasted.
Right. So absolutely.
And now all we know when we hear the name of this company is like, these guys have no idea what they're even doing. Like the CEO doesn't even know how to qualify the time of the people he's putting on the phone with the owner. We want to like teach the owner to teach the CEO to qualify his time, right?
Well, the CEO should be fired first.
Yeah, that's what we want to like.
I wanted to tell that to the owner, but the owner maybe should fire himself altogether. Yeah. Anyway, so you get the point, right? So no matter what level people are at, these types of things do happen in our industry, and I want you to be aware of it so that if it happens to you or your downline doesn't do it to as they're prospecting with their people, or if you found yourself victim for such an approach because you didn't know, now you're aware that might be something that people are left with confused or yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like,
so
just think about it. Like, how would you feel if you went in for a job interview and they're like, we're hiring this for this position, and you go in for a job interview, and then at the end of spending all this time, 2-3 interviews, and they're like, well, we're actually not hiring for that job, but we have this other job that we can hire you, that we do want to hire you for, and it's not what you want at all. It says you have no interest in that position or that job, in doing that kind of work for that kind of pay or whatever it is. You're just like, I wouldn't have come to this job interview, right? Like, I would have been looking for other jobs. Like, how do you feel when you get misled? Like, you don't feel good, right? I mean, have you ever, I got a couple notes here. Have you ever been asked to lunch? This is a common one. Hey girl, let's go get lunch. Let's reconnect. Have you ever been asked to lunch and you're reconnecting with your friend you haven't seen in a long time, and then dun 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 dun, here comes the pitch, right? Then they tell you about how they're in this company and they want to sell you their thing. They got this product. They bring it out onto the table, and you're like, I thought we were reconnecting, and then you realize, oh, they just wanted to pitch me. That's why we're here. I haven't talked to them in a long time. They're just here to sell me.
Right.
You don't feel good. Maybe you would have actually met up with them for lunch to talk about their business and hear about it. Maybe you would even been interested, but now you kind of feel like, I mean, how would you feel, right? And that happens a lot. Or what about getting on the phone? Just getting on the phone, like, hey, girl, hey, what's up, bro? We got to reconnect. And you're on the phone and you're talking to somebody and they're telling you all about what's new and they're asking you what's new. Tell me what's new with you. And you're telling it's been several years and all these things have happened. You've gotten married and you've had kids and all these things. And then they're like, oh, yeah, man, that's awesome. I just started this business. And you're like, oh, that's why we're on the phone. Right? Oh, that's why they wanted to call. That's why they called me after all these years. They're trying to sell me something.
I love how Jason puts it by saying, like, presenting false intentions.
Yeah.
Like, the false intentions are.
There's another one, too, that happens a lot. And we've got a couple stories on this. Like, you're invited over for a party. And you're like, I like parties.
I love parties.
Right? And you're like, yeah. Or you're coming over, having a party. Or we're roasting a pig. And you're like, I'm down. I love roasting pig. Let's have a party. Barbecue time. And you come over and there's all the people. And then, like, dun, 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 the pyramid pitch comes out. Like, let me introduce you to my business partner. And you're like, oh, your business partner. Okay. And then, like, everyone sit down. I want to show you this business. And you're like, and you're like, it's happened so often. It's such a common approach. It's something people so often go directly. It's the first thing they think about. Like, I'll invite everyone over for a party and I'll show them my business.
Right.
Right. Like, cool. Like, invite them over. I'll show. But I think it's the intentions, like Jason said, of why they're coming over that's going to determine whether or not people are open-minded, interested, right? Or get upset. Because, I mean, I'll tell you, like, I remember I got suckered in onto the phone one time with one of her prospects, and it wasn't Merle's fault. She had totally qualified this guy. She was like, hey, this guy wants to talk. He wants to talk about our business. He's totally open. And I was like, cool, that's awesome. Put him on the phone. And I get on the phone with him, and he starts arguing with me about how what he's doing is better. And he's trying to pitch me on doing what he's doing. It was crazy. I remember that I was like, what is going on right now? It took me a minute. I just didn't want to believe it. Like, this guy.
You always want to give people the benefit
you're like,
of the doubt.
You're like, is this really happening right now? Like, and even if what he was doing actually was better.
Right.
And maybe even if I even was open to, I was like, we were at our heads down. We weren't even looking at opportunities. We were building. We were like on a super record breaking run, blowing and going in this company. And so, I mean, like we weren't open to looking at other companies, right? We were happy where we were at. But let's say I was open. Let's say we were open to another opportunity. And let's say what he had was really awesome, which we weren't interested in. But we wouldn't have wanted to join it with this guy.
I'm going to go find someone else.
Right? We would be like, oh, that sounds like, yeah, actually, maybe we should look at that company. We're going to go find someone else to join with because the way he builds his business is misleading and dishonest. It's weaselly. He's one of those weaselly guys. So, like, we wouldn't even have wanted to join with him, right? So, like, that's the thing. So, it's like, here's a question, or maybe answer if you guys want to put it in your answers. Have you ever been suckered into a pyramid meeting? You know what I mean? A network marketing presentation on the phone or in a meeting or on a Zoom, or you got into a thing and you thought you were going into a meeting or to meet up with someone for fun, and then you felt suckered. Yeah, Joyce, like Joyce, you've been doing network marketing quite a while. Like, have you ever been suckered into a presentation that got like sprung on you? They sprung it on you and you weren't expecting it, and you're like, I wouldn't have come to this. You know what I mean? That's what people. Yeah. That's what they don't like. It's like I wouldn't have come, and maybe if you would have told me what it was, maybe I would have come, and maybe I would have been open. But you're not going to win people like that, right? It's not the best way to build the business. Like, so not every exposure is equal. Healthy. It's not. They're not all equal. Like you can, right? Like throw it on people if they're not interested. If it didn't get through. Like they weren't really open. It's like you want interested, open-minded exposures, people who are interested. Qualified, right? Mm-hmm. So yeah, Joyce, it's like you felt suckered. So, but tell them about your story with the one you went to with the party.
No, okay.
That was a good one.
So that was a good one. All right, so I'm pregnant, right? And I'm like,
not right now. No, in the story. In the story, she was pregnant.
In the story, I'm pregnant, right? 8 months. 8 months and a half. Like I'm very close to due. I was huge. It was so hard for me to walk around the last 2-3 months of my pregnancy. It was crazy. And Charles was traveling.
I was on the East Coast, building our team over there.
He was in the East Coast, and I was here in Arizona. And my rep, one of my downlines, called me and said, "Hey, I finally put a big presentation together. I'm inviting people, and I have like 40 people coming. It's gonna be crazy. Please, please, please. I know Charles is out of town. Can you come and present?" And I said, well, knowing this person, and I've worked with him, he's very assertive, very committed, very cool person. But he's just not one of the coachable ones, teachable ones, right? And we are all gonna.
Hey, we love everybody.
We love everybody, and we support everybody. But then you always
you just have to inspect what you expect a little bit more.
Yeah. So I started inspect when someone is not teachable. I dig a little bit more and do my inspection part. And so, I started asking him questions to make sure that, number one, the guests are qualified. Number two, the guests are really going to be there because they're interested in, the presentation, in an opportunity. And also that people are actually going to show up, because I don't want to go if there's no one showing up. So I start doing my digging part, and I asked him this, and I said, "Look, did you set things up right? Did you set me up right? Did you set up the meeting right, following our system?"
As far as the invites.
And he said, "Yes, of course, absolutely." I told him, send me the phone numbers of the guests. So that I can also personally double confirm them, because I had a sense that might, just knowing.
Well, he had a tendency to schedule big meetings and no one shows up. So he's like, I got a big meeting. We're like, we'll see.
Here's another one, right? So I asked him the number and the numbers of his guests, the phone numbers and the contact information. And he said, no, my fiance is handling it. She's great at it. Don't worry.
And she's confirmed everyone.
There's so much you can do, right, when someone's not teachable. And so I said, okay, if you say it is, then sure. I said, I have one problem. I'm super pregnant. As you know, I can't drive. I don't feel comfortable driving. If you can come pick me up, that would be great. And I'll Uber back. And so he did come pick me up, and in the car, he was like, "Oh, everybody's so excited. It's going to be great." And it was his birthday, by the way. So in the car, I also find out it was his birthday. So I didn't know it was his birthday until I was in the car. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, happy birthday. That's fantastic."
Oh.
So we get to the house.
Interesting.
And it's true. There are a lot of people.
Everybody's there.
Everybody's
It's
there.
great.
Okay, everybody's there, but the energy of the room was off, right? People are there not for a presentation. People aren't there for an opportunity. People were there to party. It's a birthday party. And so, and so it was one of those situations where, where what are you going to do with you have people who are there, and who are not interested, absolutely not interested, who actually weren't qualified, and if you go up and present, they're going to feel that they got duped into something.
Like how do you imagine all those people there felt? With morale, like she's there, and the rep is like, "Yeah, okay, here we go. Let's start the presentation." And she's like, So, but how do you think all those people felt, right? Not only duped.
Well, I felt duped too, right? I felt duped. They felt duped.
If not angry.
And some people, I've been in places where I've seen people just outright walk out.
And walk out on the friendship, on the relationship completely.
Together. Mm-hmm.
Right? Like.
So, hey, are you guys with us?
You know what I mean? Like imagine.
Intense,
so now you're not only losing potential prospects from your business or customers, but you're losing friendships, like hurting your credibility in the marketplace, in the business community. Like this is how they do business. Like, and then it also the credibility of the industry that comes along with it. So it's like, and it happens. Like, and we can fall susceptible to it. I remember I got duped one time coming over to a home presentation, and I kind of felt it halfway through the presentation. Because I didn't notice it at first. Everyone's there.
So you were presenting?
I was presenting, and I came over, and everyone's like there. It looked like they're all ready for a presentation. They're like, "Oh, here he is. Awesome. Nice to meet you." And I was like, "Okay, cool. Nice to meet everybody." But in the middle, I could kind of tell there was like a glazed over, their eyes are glazing over, and they weren't, people weren't interested. And I kind of started calling people. I was like, "Hey, why are you here?" And he's like, "He guy promised me a case of beer. I'm just here to get my case of beer." And then he's over, and then it's like, "Well, okay, like, why is this guy here?" And it's like, he's like, "Oh, he just told me he needed more people to come because his other people flaked out. And I was a neighbor. He told me I needed to come." And so
Jason is saying definitely
right,
a way to drive people out of your
out of your life, out of your business. So it's like this guy told me he was going to have 9 people come, and actually did have 9 people there. But I found out that 8 out of the 9 that were there weren't really there for a meeting. They had been promised gifts to show up, like they had been, you know what I mean, like. Bribed into coming. It was like, this is not a good use of my time, their time. I got suckered. You know what I mean? I felt duped, and I'm like, so I stopped the presentation halfway through. I said, "Hey, look, you guys aren't, get your case of beer, go back to your family." And the rep was like, felt scared and stunned, and he thought I was going to be mad, but I'm not mad. Like I felt bad. I didn't inspect what I expected a little bit more, and I didn't confirm the guests ahead of time or whatever it was that I could have done, right, to make sure that they were going to be open. But in your recruiting process, you guys, I think one of the biggest things we can do is be direct, like Jason was saying, about our intentions and be upfront.
Joyce is saying, "Yep, my first MLM, but I thought it was an interview into a nutrition company. It was Howard Johnson's, and I wore a suit and brought my resume." Aw.
Yeah.
Joyce.
So they just weren't upfront with you, and you went for one thing. You're thinking it was another. It ended up being another. And maybe you're interested, maybe you weren't, but that way of doing business doesn't help the industry, and it doesn't build us up.
What they did, Joyce, that's exactly how I felt, because the CEO made it sound like it's a job interview with the owner, right? Luckily, it was on the phone, so otherwise I would have gotten dressed up, professionally, and wasted even more time. And
scheduling and like maybe fly somewhere, and like you're getting
only to find out that the intentions are not there.
Yeah. So just being upfront, I think that's one of the best things. We can not be wheezy, like be direct, be upfront. If you lose the prospect, well, they weren't a prospect anyway.
Right.
Right. Like who's the prospect? Like they weren't interested to begin with. And I'm not saying you have to do a presentation over the phone to see if they're interested.
Right.
But you know what I mean? That maybe that's not good. Tell them too much and now they're not interested or whatever. But telling them, like, acting like it's something it's not, to weasel them in, to give them all of it at once, to get them roped in. It's like roping people in, like, and maybe, so there's a balance there of maybe, you know, giving a piece of information, but being direct with what it is. You know, I think here's, like, you know, you're like, hey, look, I want to maybe you haven't talked to this person in a long time. And the tendency might be to, hey, call them, hey, what's up? We haven't talked for a while. Tell me what's new. And they start talking to you for 30 minutes about everything that's new with them. And then you're like, hey, I got this thing I want to tell you about. They feel like they got duped. The better way to handle that is to be up front and say, hey, look.
If you're taking notes and you have a pen,
here's a good one.
Here's a how-to.
Here's the how-to. You're just like, hey, I know we haven't talked for a while and I want to catch up. I want to know what you're up to. And I want to tell you, but I want to tell you what I'm doing and what I'm excited about. But first, I want to know what's going on with you.
Right.
Right? I mean, you can make that phone call. You haven't talked to Doug in 6 years, and you're like, hey, we're college buddies or whatever, your old fraternity buddy, and you're like, hey, we haven't talked in a long time. I'm up to something that I'm really excited about. I want to tell you about it, but first, let's catch up. I want to know what's up with you. And they're not feeling blindsided.
And not only that,
Duped,
the entire
right?
Conversation, they can't wait to tell their part quickly, because now you built curiosity. They want to know what is it up with you that you want to share so badly that you call them out of the woodworks. You're like, hey, this is crazy, right? So Jason is saying something incredible here. He's saying it makes it hard for us to want to build up an honest business. For those, he's saying this in response to people who are
give
not
the
being
industry
direct.
a bad name. They're,
Absolutely.
It's one of those things, and I don't like the way that they were treated one time. So now they have a stigma against the industry. Like, that's not how I do business, and that's not what the business is. That's just how somebody treated you that, you know, that made you feel that way. But now that person who could transform their life with your opportunity, maybe they're not open to it because they got, you know, misled by someone in the past or something.
And it takes all of us on a mission on elevating the industry's reputation. It takes all of us to work together. Like, it's not something Charles and I can do alone. It needs all of us. And as this group is growing, it needs all of us to come together and elevate it. And when we have more people being honest and direct, then it overwhelms the stereotype that there is around this industry, that people sucker you into meetings or pyramid schemes and whatnot, right?
And I think a lot of it has to do with, a lot of the time is like, when you're not excited about your company, right?
Right.
If you're not genuinely excited about your company, and you feel like you have to kind of be weaselly, you feel like you have to kind of like, you know, or maybe your company some companies train on these weaselly tactics. They tell you to do these things. And so maybe that's not the right company for you. Maybe it's not the perfect fit. If you're not feeling super excited about it, you feel like you have to concoct a weird way to angle somebody in. You can't just be straightforward about it. And so maybe, I mean, it happened to me one time. You know, I remember about 7-8 years in to a company I was with for 9 years, and I couldn't tell people about it, what it was directly, and I didn't feel like it was going to be good for people, and I just didn't feel excited and good about promoting it anymore. And I was trying to think of ways that I could build this thing without being straightforward about it. And, you know, I either could have been out completely and left the industry. Luckily, I was open-minded. I found another company I got excited about that I could just go tell people I was excited about it, tell people about it. And I moved to another company that was a better fit. But hey, 3 years into that company, same thing happened. I didn't feel like 3 years into that deal, I didn't feel like I could tell people with honesty and look them in the eye, tell them what I was doing and tell them about what was really happening with the company. Because if I told them about what was really happening in the company, they wouldn't want to join it.
Right.
So I was like telling people it was something else. I felt like I had to tell them it was something else in order to get them excited. But they're going to find out what it really is and what's really going on once they're in it anyway.
And then they're going to be out, right?
Yeah, the business is going to expose itself. They're going to find out. And so, like, I didn't feel good about bringing them into that. I knew that they were going to find out anyway. And so I was like stuck. And ultimately I ended up leaving, and we found ourselves looking for a new company. We were in a position where, like, we wanted to be with that company forever, but the company changed and we didn't, right? So we're in a position 3 years later, we're looking for another company. And so, you know, like, well, that's why the series is so great. Like, maybe you find yourself in that position, or maybe you do in the future find yourself in that position, or maybe you meet someone who's in that position right now. knowing how to evaluate companies and how people at high levels evaluate companies, and knowing how the different things that you can do to promote and build value for in a company, right, can help you to showcase your opportunity better, right?
Yeah, I love it.
So, I think that we just don't believe it's necessary to do that kind of shifty kind of approach. We believe being something that you can be, that you're genuinely excited about and you want to promote. Tell people, hey, look, I'm excited about this. I want to tell you about it. But hey, let me hear about you. What's going on first? And you don't have to feel like you have to manipulate them in.
Yeah, and remember, people, right? You know how you make people feel is why a lot of the times why they're gonna join or not join you and follow you. So if you're shifty and if there's that shifting approach being used with a prospect, like it happened to me, then that verifies my decision not to join that company or even work for that company. Even if they offer me a position made available, I would address it before. At least if I would address it before. But
it's like those kind of people are going to be the way they are, and they're going to attract more people like that. Right. And so, but I think one of the big things that's so important, like you're just saying, to evaluate in companies is ownership. And like just from that phone call alone, is like you wouldn't have wanted to work under, be under, work within, work for an owner like that. And if you're in a company where you can be proud of your ownership and they're not doing stuff like that, that's one of the best things that you can promote about your company.
Just right? Saying trust and integrity is huge.
To build up an honest business, and you want to be in something, I think, where you can feel good about, right? And we want to feel good about what we're promoting and lay our head down at night knowing it's good for people and that we're doing good by people, right? Yeah. And so I think, but having the ownership be one of those things that you can promote and be excited about. And we couldn't be in that company being excited to promote how great the ownership was and how much integrity they have and how awesome they were when they're manipulating us to get on the phone.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, it just wouldn't work, whether they got the best product in the world that makes the most sense in the world with the best compensation plan. So, but we're going to talk more about ownership, and we're going to, in the next series, the next few, shows that we're going to do, and we're going to help help show you different aspects of ownership that you can promote and build value for
in your recruiting process.
So you can hone in and you can elevate your recruiting skills
and become a better recruiter.
So you can showcasing that's one of those things you can build value for.
Yeah.
So. There's different aspects of it. Never compromise your integrity. Absolutely. That's the key.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how we want to build the culture within this group, is not to compromise our integrity, even if we feel that there are pulling forces that are pulling us in other directions. We want to stay true to ourselves, authentic to ourselves, with integrity, with honesty, so that we can build and help, so that we can help you guys ladies build a massive organization that is solid, that has integrity embedded in its morals and its work ethic, and together we can help elevate the reputation of the industry altogether. When we lift each other up, the whole industry is lifted up. So thank you so much for jumping on our episode today, our training.
Hopefully you got something good out of it.
Absolutely. Hopefully you're getting a lot of value. Please let us know, definitely keep comments coming. Let us know what was your biggest takeaway. We'd love to learn what you're thinking, where you're at, because we can't read your minds, and if you share with us how you're thinking and where you're at, we can be the best versions
what challenges you're going through, whatever.
Yeah, so we can be the best versions of ourselves for you.
Mm-hmm.
So see you guys, not just at the top, but
over the top.
The top.
And next Wednesday.
Bye-bye.